My daughter died 10 years ago today, on May 23rd, 2012. Around that time, everyone watched 2012 and speculated the world would end. The world would survive. However, my life turned upside down when I lost my one and only daughter. It used to be just my wife and daughter and I, in a small suburban town. Her name was Maya. She was just about to turn 18 and head out for college, but things turned for the worst. Maya and my wife, Irene, we were going out shopping to buy clothes and small decorations for her dorm room. It was a Sunday night, so I was home from work, waiting for both of them to come home. I had received a call that my wife was in due to a car crash. I ran over to the hospital to find my wife, Irene, and no sign of my daughter. The paramedics told me that my wife lost control of the car and had smashed into an electricity pole, and she had hit her head hard, so she won't remember much. I asked the paramedics about my daughter, to which they replied that Irene was the only one in the car. I panicked and persistently told the doctors that my daughter was with her. They must have missed something, and all they said was,
I know you're in shock and you're worried, but your daughter was not in the car. Maybe your wife dropped her off somewhere before the accident?
Maybe they were right. I called Maya's cell phone, but the call didn't go through. During this time, my wife regained consciousness, and I ran over to see how she was doing. I asked her how she was feeling, but she looked at me like she'd never seen me before in her life. Irene? Where's Maya? Irene, with vessels in her eyes completely red, stared at me and said,
Who's Maya? And who are you?
The doctors came in and told me once again that she hit her head and she won't remember a thing. Irene was safe in the hospital, but I kept getting more and more worried about Maya. Where could she be? Why can't I reach her by phone? I could have reported to the police. It hadn't been 24 hours yet. I waited at the hospital for the doctors to discharge my wife, all while constantly ringing Maya. I called her two closest friends, but they also said the last thing Maya told them was that she was going shopping with her mother. After 24 hours had passed, I've reported my daughter missing to the police. They told me that they found her, and they said that they already had the car in the crash site and didn't find anyone else. They told me to take my wife home and take care of her. If they had found any new evidence, they would contact me themselves. I went back to the hospital, and the doctor said that they would discharge my wife, as they didn't have any life-threatening injuries. They said she would start remembering things herself, and gave me medication for any headaches she might have. I took my wife home, and ever since, I have been taking care of her. She started remembering my name in her basic everyday life, but she never once remembered anything about that night. 10 years later, she still doesn't remember, and I'm assuming the police file on the case had been closed as well. On the night of May 23rd, 2002, as I write this, I received a phone call, but the number didn't show up. I picked up the phone, and from the other end was a loud static, loud enough for me to suddenly move from the phone away from my ear. Behind the static was a girl's voice, and what it said shocked me.
Hello? Dad? I don't have time but to leave. Don't for me. Dad, Mom killed me.
It was Maya on the other end. I'm sure of it. It sounded like her. My dead daughter just tried to call me and told me that my wife killed her. She's sleeping soundly in the other room. I don't know what to make of it. Does Irene really not remember? Or is she faking it? Did my wife murder my daughter? If so, I've been living with my daughter's murder for the past 10 years. Maybe I should confront her. I hear her. She's awake and calling for me. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna confront her. If I don't respond, send help. Update. I ended up confronting my wife about it. At first, she continued to act like she didn't know who Maya was. However, a couple hours later, she came to my study and asked me if he contacted me and sold her out, and she's just pacing around the house repeatedly saying,
Sold her soul, sold her soul, sold her soul.
I want to take her for a psych evaluation tomorrow. Hopefully they can get me answers out of her. I'm writing this with the last drop of sanity I have left. Last time I spoke to you guys, I had thought of taking my wife Irene in for a psych evaluation. However, today, something weird happened. I saw her put in the pills that the hospital gave me for her headaches into my food. Like, what the fuck? I thought she stopped taking those meds years ago. I don't think she ever was taking them. I think she's been dosing my food to drive me into insanity. I'm not such a tech guy, but I found this application online that records any conversations, converts it into transcripts and emails to whoever you want. I have given my password to the only friend that I trust, and have told them to upload the exact transcripts to Reddit as an update and a goodbye to you guys if anything happens to me when I confront her.
Hard drive, C, user, laptop, SF51454T. Start, record, and convert.
Irene, how long have you been drugging my food?
Drugging? Oh, you mean your antipsychotics?
My antipsychotics? Stop lying to me! What have you been putting in my food?
Honey, you need to calm down. You have schizophrenia. The medicine I put in your food is to help with that.
You're lying! I took Carrie for 10 years. Our daughter died. You were in a car crash. Don't you remember?
Honey, we never had a daughter. And I'm sick of hearing about this Maya for the past 10 years. Yes, I did have an accident and I was in the hospital, but there was no Maya. You told the cops and the nurses about her, but there was no one.
No, you're lying. You know how I know? Because she told me. She called and told me that you killed her.
Wait, what? Repeat that to yourself. Do you think it makes any sense? Your so-called dead daughter, who I apparently killed, called you and told you that? Listen, I'm trying to help you, but you need to trust me.
Trust you? You're hiding something. I'm perfectly sane and you can't make me think otherwise.
Sane? Like a couple nights ago when you thought the devil was in our house?
I heard you. You kept saying, sold her soul. Sold her soul.
Honey, I wasn't home. I left an attendant here with you, remember? She called me and told me you kept talking to thin air.
No. You're lying.
Everything all right, Irene?
Who's that?
It's nothing. You're hearing things again.
What are you doing with the radio?
The bill. I can't believe I forgot. Hey, Jason, I'm gonna need some help here.
On my way.
Who the hell is just... Ow! What the fuck did you inject me with? I'm gonna fucking get out of... What did you give me?
Jesus Christ, Irene. You forgot to give him today's dose, didn't you? You know how dangerous that is? What if he finds out we've been experimenting on him with this new drug?
Experiments? That's what they did to my mates in the war. Those goddamn Nazis.
Christ, you were never in the war. Just be careful, Irene. You don't want to have to kill another. Am I right? Once is enough.
Two, you mean?
Battery low.
Right. Sorry. Forgot about the Maya girl. I mean, she was on to you. There's nothing you could have done. The only thing you could have done was kill both of them and start again with him. It was smart, you know. So-called accident happens. A woman survives, but doesn't remember anything. I mean, she didn't survive, but it was a perfect cover-up to help you infiltrate. Oh, shit. Was I not supposed to say that?
Maya.
Don't worry about it, he'll forget soon enough. He'll be straight back to the fantasy he's been living in. I'm almost done with him anyway. I have more than enough data. I'll kill him soon.
Alright, I'll leave you to it. Just be more careful now.
Battery low.
Oh, you should take that face off sometimes. I miss seeing the real you, Ada. You've had that face on for so long that you're starting to think you're actually Irene.
Leave, Jason! You worry about your own experiment. Oh, and fix your face, it's peeling off.
Alright.
Battery critical. Emailing backup to toy@gmail.com. Deleting backup from hard drive user laptop SF51454T. Documents. Voice to text. Finished.
Shutting down PC.
Good night. Farewell. And remember, don't get lost in the dark.